Switch. Right. I wish I could turn back time to the good old days when the man would say that I'm still stressed out. Oh, let's have a look see here at some trades while we wait for people to join. Oh, round 22. We have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds left. Wow. Dewey could go absolutely bananas this week as well. Oh, everyone's going to captain Nicholas Hines this week. For sure. Hines into Souths. Vice captaincy play. I don't mind either. I really think that... Oh my gosh, you got Cleary against Canberra, which could actually be closer than what people think. Reece Walsh could be a great vice captaincy play. We need to see if that or like a Jermaine Asako. Hey, it's Hayden. Love the show. Hey man, how you doing, Hayden? Thanks for coming on in. How's your team looking? How many trades you got left, big dog? Thanks for the support as always. Roosters. Hosking might need to go. I think Hosking might need to go first. Rage VC on Sam Walker this week. You're a madman. Don't do that. Surely don't do that. That's scary. How you doing, pros? I think everyone's pretty much going to have the same. What's his break even? 93 against the Bulldogs at home. Most surely hold, but he could have a pretty weak score. Yeah, Cleary, Willison again. Looks good. And then got Herbie coming in. Valentine Holmes can sit. If Bostock is in, he's a reserve 1, 2, 3, 4. This looks pretty good to me. Really want Robson in my team though. Ready for next year. Oh gosh. No, keep trying. Don't give up. Don't give up. I'm thinking I can also do Valentine Holmes to Jermaine Asako. St. George don't have... I mean, they have Manly and then they have Parramatta to end with, but I'm not sure if I can... what I can swindle. Unless I just trade down... I don't know. We need to see team lists. You 2,058 and 3 trades left. That's pretty good, man. Pretty good. Not a bad effort whatsoever, my friend. I tell you what, last season, fullback roulette killed me. This season, fullback roulette killed me. Next season, I'm going to be so much more smarter. Oh, by the way, do any of you guys play different fantasy sports or do you only play NRL? I'm pretty happy with this. Lukey is a bit of a weird. I don't know if I want Lukey this week. He's going to be into. No, he won't be on Toya's side actually. He's going to be on Tupou Savala's side, but Tupou's injured, right? And I've just been invited to play in a draft with some friends, an in-person draft. I've never played NFL before, but I'm going to give it a go. So I've been watching all the NFL videos and stuff, but I don't know if you know what best ball is. I really want to play like there's some sites in America, but you can't access them because I'm in Australia, obviously. But if I could access something like DraftKings or Underdog Fantasy, boy oh boy, I would absolutely love that. Also, Tamari Martin is a trade out this week possibly as well. Oh, Blake Brayley 69. I don't even think I know you can do a hooker trade. Campbell, it's very interesting. Very interesting. How long do we? Oh, we still got about 5 minutes left, so we can have a chat. Thanks for coming on in, everyone. I know it's coming into the back end of the season, so numbers start dropping down a bit. A lot of people give up on their teams and they're just over it, blah, blah, blah. But not me. I go to the very end. So people are trading out Tamari Martin. I wonder if we're going to see Luke Metcalf come in today because Warriors, they've been playing okay, but they're slightly dropping off a bit. So it's going to be super interesting. Super, super interesting. Wish we could turn back time to the good old days when the man would say that I was so stressed out. What's Bulldogs run? Oh, actually, we should bring this up. NRL Fantasy Stats. NRL SC Straw. Bulldogs. Yeah, right. Pretty tough. I mean, they actually have quite a tough draw. I'm trying to decide on Teddy or Campbell. Hold on. Let me read this properly. I'm trying to decide on Teddy or Campbell in flex, but only have 3 trades. Like the flexibility of Campbell and VC options with Cleary, Nico. Well, Teddy will have North Queensland this week, who he could do the same thing against. I don't think he'll get 3 tries. It's interesting. I think I prefer Campbell, in my opinion. But I think Campbell in the 5/8 position is where you want him, not in the flex. Almost traded out Campbell instead of Tamari 3 weeks ago. Gut said don't do it. Always follow your gut. Number one rule. Well done. Well done to you. Absolutely huge call. Isn't it amazing? I remember when everyone was trading out Suafar Logo and Tedesco. It was Melbourne versus the Roosters that night, and I traded out Sua. Then I reversed it 2 minutes ago before the game and did Teddy instead. Sua went on a mad run, and that's when Teddy started going bad. And I'm like, those type of decisions in fantasy literally make or break your season. It was absolutely insane. I also have Wishart, so can flip them up and down. Oh yeah, that's fine. I think you want JC in the 5/8 position though, for sure. Ponga and Martin starting. We'll have to wait and see. It didn't go on for long. I think it's 4 to 5 weeks for memory. Let's have a look, see. Now, we're not going to look at my team because it's going to give away who's starting and that. So for those that are watching, if you know something earlier, just wait so we can obviously do it live and then go from there. Team lists are out. Well, they're not out on NRL website, so that's what I do it on. I don't see them on the NRL website. Do 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 do. Bulldogs making a bit of a run, eh? I didn't think Crichton at 5'8" was a go, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I really wish, though, I didn't do my Reece Walsh trade last week. It was something I was umming and ahhing, and I did it, and I think I may regret it. If you go to each match draw, they will be there. Oh, yeah, but I'd just prefer to see. I get what you mean, but then I'd have to go boom, then I'd have to go back, then I have to go boom, then I have to go back, and it's like, and I like reading the little summaries they have. You know what I mean? That's just how I do things around here, partner. There's a bit of a surprise in Cowboys team, but it's just the number they're wearing that's the surprise. Gonna be Reece Ball. Bro, Broncos got nothing to lose. That's what I was saying in my last video. Because they know they can't do anything, maybe he just feels no pressure and he just plays footy and goes absolutely insane in a couple of games. I don't think it's going to be like last season where he went absolutely ballistic. But yeah, I think it could be very, very good to watch. We'll have to see. What is their draw, actually? Newcastle, Dolphins, New Zealand at home, Canberra away, Melbourne at home. I mean, it's a pretty good run. Some good home games there. All right, let's get this intro in. Let me stop and start this recording and then go from there. All right, let's do this. What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Rage Traders NRL Supercoach podcast. Wolfie here again with another live team list with the lads all in the live chat. We are going through the new team list for this week. Of course, some big ins and some big outs maybe. We're waiting to see. It's just about to come through now. But of course, if you are watching on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. If you are listening on Apple or Spotify podcasts, which I do thank you for all the support there. It's actually been very surprising this season considering I started it out of nowhere. Thank you very much. 5-star review goes a long way. For those of you that are unaware, I had a pretty good week last week, not as good as some others, especially in our Discord. We had some people get some major scores, but 1,514 for myself. That was about a 12,500 ranked score, puts me to just above a 10,500 at 10,800 in total. So I gained about 1,400 spots. So we're looking at trying to like really crunch in this week. You know, me dodging the loss of Lucas, the loss of Hudson Young. These are things that I've missed out on, which is good. So let's wait and see. Why do I see Tallis Duncan's face already? Why did they say 2 to 3 weeks and it's a week? What is going on? Oh my gosh, he's back. That hurts my guts. Oh gosh. All right, let's get into it. Oh golly gosh. Cowboys versus the Roosters, 7:50 p.m. Thursday. This is a massive game. If us Cowboys can get this win, I'll be very, very impressed because we're such an edge-to-edge team that, you know, up against the likes of Robert Toya and of course, the other side, well, no Tupou there, which is good, but Savala, he's been a pretty good defender, so I have to wait and see. All right, Sonny Luke takes over at hooker with Reed Marnie entering concussion protocols. Tom McKaylee comes in the front row with Griffin Neame suspended. Englishman John Bateman returns from a hamstring injury as part of the six-man interchange alongside Caden Lars, who plays his first NRL game. So for the Cowboys, a pretty stock standard team here. Look, you can't go Braden Burns this week, I would say. Wait, will Braden Burns be... Braden Burns is actually going to be on the Tommy Talau side. So if you wanted to make a bit of a pod play, if you wanted to go crazy, maybe that is the side you want to go at, considering that Marky Mark and Robert Toya, they're going to hold down the right side pretty well. Robert Toya, one of the best centers, if not the best center defender in the game. Marky Mark, this I would say is the game where he gets at least 60. I'm going to call it now. Cowboys defense hasn't been looking great, and even though we held Broncos to a pretty good score, I just think the Broncos have been lacking in attack a bit, and I think Roosters, if Cowboys don't turn up, they could go easily plus 24 points here. So this could be a bit of a score fest. I hope it is, because I expected the Cowboys and Broncos to be, and it wasn't as much as what I thought it would be. Of course, if you're still holding Tommy Chester, I think he'll be a sit this week. If you're still holding the likes of like a Zach Labour, this could be a sit, but obviously Drinkwater, he needs to have a massive game here. Jackson Purdue in the 7, replacing Tommy Dearden. So that may incline me to possibly trade down Jackson Purdue over Tamari Martin and hold Tamari Martin. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but I think I would rather trade out Purdue than Tamari Martin, because the draw for the Warriors isn't as bad. Yes, the Cowboys draw is good as well, so that's something we have to weigh up. Let's have a look at the New Zealand draw. So they have Gold Coast away, Penrith at home, that's the tough one. They have Broncos away, Souths away, Newcastle at home, Manly at home. Not too bad, not amazing though. Then you have the Cowboys, who have a really nice run coming through. So they have the Roosters, which is the tough one this week, Gold Coast away, Parramatta away. They have a bye in round 25, but then West Tigers at home and Canberra at home. Take that as you will. Maybe it is time to hold on to Purdue for that one. Nothing else here to talk about in terms of Supercoach here. Obviously, the Tupou coming out for Tommy Talau, maybe that becomes a target for the Cowboys going to that right side. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm hoping for a big game here on both ends of the field. I'm not a Drinkwater owner. If you are a Drinkwater owner, feel free to take a chance on the vice captaincy play. I'd be scared to do it just because the Roosters can have quite good defense, but it is a viable play nonetheless. Even the likes of Sammy Walker or something like that. But yeah, let's go to the next one. Pretty stock standard teams here. Nothing much to talk about. Also, Nat Butcher has been playing incredible. So is Jason Taumalolo. So not really looking at JT as a Supercoach play, but Nat Butcher, if you already had him, congratulations. He's been putting up some good numbers. All right, Dragons versus the Dolphins, 6 p.m. Now, someone who I'm looking at getting in my team, Jermaine Asako. I can go straight from Valentine Holmes for Jermaine Asako. They've got the Dragons here, 6 p.m. on Friday. Let's see what's happening. Dean Young sticks solid with the same starting 13 that went down to the Titans. The only change to the 90-man squad is Moses Suli. Sure, the return of Jack Bostock. He's back. I've held him. I'm happy with that. He's staying in my team. From concussion, sees Selwyn Cobbo go back to the wing and Tavita Nafahu make way. Isaiah Katoa is listed among the reserves as he looks to return after 3 games out with a wrist injury. I think they said he's likely more to be back against the Broncos. You just told me not to VC Walker. Yes, I don't think you should VC Walker. I said if you want to. I don't think you should do it. But if you want to do someone from the Roosters, it's Marky Mark or Sam Walker. But I wouldn't do it. I don't have the balls to do it. Thursday night game. I don't like it. Good luck. Have fun. Anything else here to talk about? Herbie obviously in this team. Bostock, Asako. It's a very star-studded team. Obviously the big miss here is Katoa if he doesn't play. Again, the Dolphins have quite a nice run on as well, in my opinion. St. George into Broncos at home, which should be quite a fun and interesting match. Manly away, into Parramatta at home, Sydney away, which could be a rest week in round 26, Gold Coast away to finish the season off. So that's going to be very interesting to see. A lot of teams fighting for the top 4 as well. Don't forget about that. That will come into play. So Jamayne Isaako for me is someone that I wanted to target after their bye. I think I'm very close to going Valentine Holmes to Jamayne Isaako, and maybe even just getting some money down from Zach Hosking and just hoping that, or just holding Zach Hosking, honestly, and just seeing what happens from there. But don't have a lot of cash in the bank, have to downgrade somewhere. All right, let's not talk about the Dragons too much. The only 3 you care about: Toby Couchman, Ryan Couchman, Hamish Stewart. Let's be honest. All right, Storm versus the Bulldogs, 8 p.m. This is going to be a very interesting game. Which Bulldogs turn up? Is it the new defensive Bulldogs, or will Sua'afa'alogo absolutely tear them apart? If you still have him in your team, I'd be reluctant against this, but it is at home. Harry Grant obviously gone is a big out. The team's taken some big hits this week, but still it's at Storm home. Sua'afa'alogo, he's going to be imperative to the attack as always. So let's see if anything changes here. So Trent Talau takes over at hooker. Hayden Watson joins the bench on his NRL debut. Manaia Watera comes in at centre for Jack Howarth. Experienced duo Sean Blore and Joe Chan have been added to the 6-man bench. Serraldo, he sticks with the same starting 13 that was so impressive against the Warriors. Kurt Mann is back on the bench after missing 2 games due to a facial injury. Sure. So nothing crazy here. Can you still go Kiraz? Boy, oh boy, that is a big question. If you don't have Kiraz, can you go Kiraz? That is the biggest thing. Let's just have a look quickly at his score. I'm not going to look at my team while I do this. His price, sorry, because that'll be scary. So he's only 579,000. He's gone 32, 64, and then 97 last week. Very interesting. Let me know in the comments below what you think about Jacob Kiraz. But yeah, I don't know. The injury-prone status to him scares me a lot. Matty Burton still in the centres. Stephen Crichton in the 6. Lockie Galvin still in the 7. Viliami Kikau and Preston, they lead in the 2RF position as per usual. And Curran is still out. Yeah, no Curran on the interchange. Oh, no, sorry. Interchange on Curran still there. So he's going to get limited minutes. If you did own him, I think it's time to get rid of him. Hey, Wolfie. Love your work. Hello. How are you? I need to lift up my phone to see who said it. Karen. Hello. Thanks for coming on in. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. All right. Looking at the Melbourne team, look, Stefano Otoikamanu, this is going to be his game. If Melbourne are to win this, he needs to be exactly what he was last week. I can't see it happening. I really can't. But if he can just do some tackle busts, if you've got Stefano in your team, he needs to keep turning up and have a massive end to the season. It's just really tough with the injury to the Storm. Now, if you have Sua'afa'alogo, I am 100% with you if you want to trade him out. The only thing that scares me is this. It's not this game. I think you can sit him in this game. Then next week, they have Manly at home. Do you want to be looking at the TV, watching Melbourne versus Manly at Melbourne's home, Sua'afa'alogo playing? Now, if you can just wait this week, play him next week, trade him out round 24. They have the bye into Penrith, into Broncos away, into Sharks away. The problem is, and there's only one problem with this, is that if you don't get him in now, you are going to miss out on getting Drinkwater in if you don't have Drinkwater against the Gold Coast Titans. Again, this is North Queensland away at Gold Coast. I don't know what Gold Coast team is going to turn up. We know they have one of the best defenses in the first 40 minutes of a game. So if you don't, you can then wait for Scotty Drinkwater at round 24. But again, if you don't get him in round 24, they have a bye in round 25. So you're waiting until round 26. So there's a lot of dilemma here. Now, I'm happy at the moment having my fullback set up as Tedesco. I think it's Ponga, and then you need your third. Your third can be Walsh. Your third can be Drinkwater. You could even go to a Hammer. You really could. You really want to play like a pod game. I think, though, it's like Tedesco, Drinky, +1. It's going to be super hard. It's going to be very hard. But yeah, that's my take on that. Let's go to the next game. Titans versus the Warriors. Going to be a massive game here. Titans are hitting some form. Warriors, to me, are not. But again, Tamari Martin still in the 7. Luke Metcalf in the 18. So I was a bit worried there about there could be some changes, but we'll have to wait and see. AJ Brimson, he returns in the centers. Jalen DeGroot makes way. Kurt Morin is also back from a leg injury, so Fayamani drops out. Charles Nickel-Cookstad, he's going to step in at fullback with Tane Tuapiki suffering a foot injury against the Bulldogs. Don't know how long out Tane Tuapiki is, but that's good for my draft team. Eddie Airmia Tuava, apologies for absolutely butchering that, has been added to the 6-man bench. So Supercoach-wise here, another player you could easily look at bringing in. Again, another pod is Keanu Kinney. He's hit some form. Maybe you wait for this New Zealand game. Then he hits North Queensland, Newcastle away, Sharks at home, which is pretty tough. Souths at home, Dolphins at home. They do have a good home run, which is great to see. Maybe Kinney could be the person you look at getting in. Jaden Campbell, he's on everyone's tongues at the moment. Again, we've just gone through who they're versing. He could easily go 80 plus against North Queensland. He could easily go 80 plus against Newcastle. Him being at home 3 times, he may verse Souths with some restings. He may verse Dolphins with some restings. Have to wait and see. He could even verse Sharks with some restings. I doubt that because it's round 25. But I'm all for people looking at going Jaden Campbell at the moment. Don't get sucked in by the recent score, though. That's all I'm going to say. But he's absolutely stepping up, and some massive scores are what you need on the run home. Nothing else to talk about here for the Titans, in all honesty. Let's just check if Verrills are still in the 18. So Ollie Pascoe owners, you are locked and loaded. Ollie Pascoe, if you have him, he is your run home. You don't need to go to Blake Brayley. I've said it over and over. Stick with Pascoe. I've got Reece Robson and Pascoe, and Reece Robson is literally sitting on my reserves, not even a reserve last week. I literally had Couchman brothers, Nico, and Far Logo, and I got it exactly right. Even though Robson got a 65, all my reserves were higher than that. So absolutely insane. I've got the backup there. I'm going to stick with it in case an injury happens with Pascoe or Robson. Then I've got the backup there, and I just keep Pascoe going. But Titans are playing great footy, and you don't need to do anything there. If you currently have hookers if you look at your hookers right now and you say, do I really need Blake Brayley? Now, if you're like, yes, I've got Brandon Smith and he's absolutely gone, or I've got an average hooker. If you've only got 3 or 4 trades left, if you've got 2 trades left, is the extra 20 to 30 points that Blake Brayley will give you worth that one trade? Or do you want to look at trading a 2RF that has a higher ceiling, a CT dub that has a higher ceiling? I would definitely look at 2RF, CT dub, or fullback rather than just trying to get a Blake Brayley in, unless you absolutely need him and it's going to cost you a number that week. So if you don't have your hooker spot filled, get him in. If you do, I think you don't need him. That's my take. All right. Warriors, let's look at that. Nothing crazy here. Look, Warriors could easily turn up this week. Tamari Martin, for me, still could be someone we start. I know he's traded out this week. How bad would it feel if you traded out Tamari Martin for Jaden Campbell, Warriors turn up, they win by 16, 18 points, and Jaden Campbell gets a 50? That is exactly what Supercoach has done to me this season. So I'm scared of that. I'd rather trade Jackson Purdue, knowing that he's going to be in the 7 if you do have him, because he won't do as much there as what he does in the centers. Take that as a grain of salt. If you think Jaden Campbell, he's the kicker, Titans are playing better, they've got some home games on the run home, go for it. Go with your gut. But yeah, that's all I'm going to say. I swear Luke Laluli was at Tigers, not was. I think they signed him. Do we think Izzy Katoa will play? I don't think he will. I think he'll be back. They'll rest him for the Broncos matchup. But we'll wait and see. All right, let's go to the next one. Panthers versus the Raiders. Panthers haven't been playing amazing footy, still getting away with some wins here and there, but the Raiders are on a tear. This low-key, to me, is the underrated round of the match, where I think this is going to be a tiny bit closer than what people think. However, I do think Panthers will get up here. Of course, I think everyone will. Maybe the Panthers just come out and dominate. So look into this as you will. The big talk here is Hudson Young out and Noah Martin out. So what happens with the lineup here? Let's have a look. Matty Nicholson is on the interchange. Adam Mariota, he's starting. Morgan Smithies, he's in the lock. Interesting. Zach Hosking still in. Very scary to start Zach Hosking in this one. Simi Sasagi, he's in the centers. Jed Stewart and Timoko. Jed Stewart on the wing, Xavier Savage. Okay, so nothing crazy here, stock standard. Do we have Owen Paddy starting? We do. Tommy Starling, he goes back to the interchange. So if people that do randomly own Tom Starling, that's going to reverse back on you now. For the Panthers, Dylan Edwards remains sidelined with the shoulder injury. So Jackson Edgar again gets the nod in the number 1 jersey. That hurts their attack a bit. It really does. Jack Hocker takes over at 5/8 from Blaze Talagi. Blaze Talagi's been dropped. And you know what? I warrant it. I really do. He has not been playing great footy. He's been doing some dumb stuff here and there. Wow. Okay. So that is very, very... So Jack Cogger comes in. I think that's good for the Panthers. I really do. Didn't see it coming, but the axe has been dropped. The guillotine has been let loose. Tommy Jenkins, he could easily be a vice captaincy or captaincy play for you this week, for sure. I just think there's an obvious captaincy choice for the week. So yeah, we'll get into that at the end of the video. And go through like our vice captains and captaincies just as a quick run over, but nothing crazy here, to be honest with you. This is why I didn't want Sasagi though. The run home for the Raiders is a bit tougher. They've got Penrith away, Newcastle at home, which should be pretty good. Then they've got Sharks away, Broncos at home, into a bye, into North Queensland away. It's not too bad. They've got some 2 or 3 toughish games, but the bye also. So it's like Penrith, Sharks, and a bye is what worries me. But the 110 he gave you last week, you're absolutely cheering. Is he a buy in this week? I don't think so. I think you can wait 1 week and then go next week if you really want him, but that's just me. Broncos versus the Knights, that's Saturday, 7:35 p.m. Reece Walsh versus Ponga. This is going to be an interesting game. Dean Mariner moves to the centers. Grant Anderson comes in on the wing for Shibasaki, who's dropping out. Preston Ricky has had surgery for his syndesmosis injury. Honestly, he didn't have a great game last week, so I think that's going to be a plus for Brisbane. No offense, obviously, speedy recovery. Vas Semu takes over in the front row. Jaden Hunt and Hayes Perham join the 6-man bench. A huge boost for the Knights. Callum Ponga set to return from a quad injury that sidelined him last week. Dane Gagai also returns, so Fletcher Hunt, he moves to the bench. Dylan Brown out for the season. Sanders Smith slides to halfback, and Fletcher Sharp is the new 5/8. Jermaine McEwen returns to fill the hole left by Dylan Lucas. So there is your replacement for Dylan Lucas. That is Jermaine McEwen. Lachlan Crouch has been added to the bench in place of Elijah Salesa Lamuana. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. All right, so the team is there. If you still have Marju, I'm very scared to own him, but the fact that Kalen Ponga is back, that is a big plus for you guys. So maybe you're still holding on to Marju here. It's just a struggle when you watch him, but Sandon Smith, I think, is a great replacement for Dylan Brown. He's a good player. He's a good player, and I think that serves as a purpose. Knight's season isn't over. I think they can still do things. Obviously, Dylan Lucas is the biggest out here. What Broncos team turns up? Let's talk about it. I was thinking about this the other day and I was like, if I was Reece Walsh and I knew my season was over, wouldn't I just kind of have fun and do what I want, do a little chip and chase here and there, just play some footy? And I wonder if he's just going to come out and play really, really good footy because there's no pressure now because they know they basically can't make it unless the results are absolutely insane. So that's something I really am interested to see. If he has a terrible game here, I'm very open to doing a corrective trade and getting rid of him. I know that sounds crazy, but I'd rather 3 fullbacks I can trust So yeah, that's what I'm going to be looking at. Payne Haas, obviously someone who I'm not getting in, but he could have an absolutely blinder this one. This could be the game you really want to get him in against the Knights with no Jacob Saifidi. Their front row forward is lacking, or the position in their forwards is lacking. I think this is the game where you really do want Payne Haas. Maybe that's something I do look at instead of like a Jermaine Osako, or I double up. So yeah, I really want to look into that. We'll see how we go, but that is absolutely going to be something I really monitor, I think, because let's look quickly at the Broncos draw. They have Newcastle at home, Dolphins away, which I think Payne Haas again would be incredible in. New Zealand, that'll be a tough game for him at home. Canberra away, again, a lot of forward heavies there as well. Melbourne, that'll be good. Bulldogs away. So yeah, I'm umming and ahhing about that, but we'll have to wait and see. And this should be quite a high scoring game. This should be the one. Sharks versus Rabbitohs. Let's have a look here. Tom Hazelton, he returns from a back injury that sidelined him last week, and Adam Fanua-Blake starts in the front row. So Jesse Colquhoun and Oregon Kaufusi reverts to the bench in a settled Shark squad. No, we don't need to worry about that. And Brandon Uele is listed among the reserves. Brandon Smith has been named to play despite battling a calf problem against the Storm last week. Tallis Duncan has been listed among the reserves. Okay, sure. As he looks to return from a hamstring injury. If he plays, that would be absolutely insane. But congrats to him from a speedy recovery. Sean Keppie is set to return from a thumb injury via the bench. John Riddell moves to the prop, and Keon Kolomotangi to second row in a straight swap with Lachlan Hubner starts at lock, and Bronson Garlick drops out. Keon doing Keon things. Good to see. This could be an interesting game. Very interested to see if Sharks come out and do exactly what they've been doing. Some big scores. The obvious play here is I think a lot of people will look at doing Nicho Hynes as their captain this week. Their edge defense is quite good. The Rabbitohs at times, they still have been letting quite a lot of points through. They let a lot of points through to Melbourne, who's not the craziest team at the moment. So that just makes me think you got to have something on Nicho here, and it's likely the big C. Again, nothing else to look at here and talk about. Let's go to the next. West Tigers versus the Eels. Now, this could be a very interesting game. A tumultuous week. Adam Doueihi has been named to return at halfback with Javon Andrew dropping to reserves. Hamasi Makasini is back in the centres, so Sunuya Turuva moves out to the wing. Sione Fanu, who's been named to start in the back row after coming off the bench last week. Too much to talk about here, to be honest. That doesn't really matter super coach-wise. Junior Paulo has been named to return from a knee injury via the bench. Luca Moretti brings Kelma Tuolagi into the Luca Moretti's concussion brings Kelma Tuolagi into the starting side. All right. Nothing crazy here to talk about. Isaiah Iongi could have a pretty massive game. Jack Williams, he's on the trade targets for a lot of people. I don't really want to read into it too much. I think I'd just rather have Simi Sasagi if you didn't have him. Look, if you want to go for a crazy play, go for it. I know he tore up against Panthers. Go for it. If you've got nothing to lose, maybe you just go for it. But he's a pretty flat 60 to 65 type of player. I know he's got some attacking stats. I just don't want to overread into it too much. But if you've got nothing to lose and you're like, you know what, I'm going to go Jack Williams. He's a good player. And if he doesn't do much, he'll still get me a 60 to a 65. Go for it for sure. And that's it. That's your team list, ladies and gentlemen. All done and dusted for round 22. If you have any questions, put them in the chat right now. If you could kindly on audio, that's the podcast, Spotify and Apple Podcast, 5-star review, that helps a lot. We're going to continue on with some questions here. But just quickly, for those that are still listening, I think the obvious captain this week is Nicho Hynes. My vice captains for this week, obviously I'll do a later video this week, but just give you a quick, as I skim through it, I really like someone like Jermaine Osako this week, or a Jack Bostock as a vice captaincy if you don't own Osako. You could easily look at going into someone like a Cleary as a vice captaincy play. I think the Canberra game will be a bit closer than what people think. I don't mind Reece Walsh as well. With the injuries to Newcastle, those VCs into a Nicho captain could be absolutely amazing. But we'll get into that later in the week. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Wolfie from the Rage Traders. Peace. All right. Stop recording. Pardon me. Benji's a weak coach. We don't need to get into that. This is a game where Adam Dewey could get 120. I actually agree with you, but for the one game, Edwards a trade with 2 trades left. Ooh, sheesh. I'm going to say yes. 100%. I think he is. It depends how the rest of your positions are looking. But yeah. You're tempted to trade out Marky Mark to Teddy. Bit sideways, in my opinion. I think if you got Marky Mark, you're just holding him for the rest of the season, in my opinion. So for me, at the moment, I'll just speak about like what I'm thinking. Obviously, I'll do my video later in the week. The obvious trade for me is I think I'm looking at doing Valentine Holmes to Jermaine Osako. It's going to make me have Herbie Farnworth, Jack Bostock, and Holmes. Again, every week they'd likely be in my starting side and playing. Against the Broncos, I'd play them. Against Manly, I'm going to play them. Against Parramatta, I'm going to play them. Against Roosters, that's the one that could have restings. So I'm really big on it. Look at the run home for the Dolphins. I think I'm locking it in. I really do think I'm locking it in. I think they could score over. I think the Dolphins from now to the end of the round end of the season could score over 200 points in total. I really do. So I think I'm looking at this and I'm like, you know what? A vice captaincy on Jermaine Osako could be something I'm looking at. Then I might fade Suafaa Logo. I think Bulldogs are going to be all over him this week. Like, I can just imagine them being like, look, they don't have Harry Grant. They don't have Cameron Munster. They've got injuries. Contain Suafaa Logo and we will win the game. So I'm thinking about fading him. I think vice captain, I could also go Reece Walsh into Hines, because Hines is the obvious play. I know Penrith, $1.37 against Canberra, but I'm just thinking, what's the safest play for me here? I really like this. Again, I think Dolphins just have such a great, crazy good run. This will keep me at 3 trades for the rest of the round. The problem is I have $19,000 left in salary. However, my team is pretty stacked. I've got 3 front row forwards. I've got Willison. Hosking, I'll have to hold him unless I downgrade him now. Will I even play Hosking next week? That's the big question. They have Newcastle at GIO Stadium. Maybe I do. West Tigers have the bye next week. So that means that Toby Couchman will come up for Miles Martin. Then Toby Couchman will go into my front row forward position. And I don't think I'm going to be playing a Tarpanay unless I need to, because he's kind of like a 50 to a 58 type of player. Sometimes he gets over the 60 mark, but it's usually with an attacking stat. So that's going to give me more room to play Hosking next week as well. So these are the things I'm trying to look forward at, but I just really like Jermaine Osako. 704,000, 83 break even. He's got a great draw. He's the goal kicker. The right edge is who they generally go to a lot. They've got St. George this week. Look, they might not play amazing at St. George. Who knows? Who knows what could happen? But I'm looking at it as a 5-round, 6-round run. I was initially thinking Garrick to Marky Mark. Thoughts? Mark, huge upside, but Garrick feels safe. Oh, I'd be getting rid of Garrick in an instant, in my opinion. He's gone for me. I got rid of him the week he got 109. It sucks, but yeah, as soon as the injuries happened, I'd be getting rid of him. I'd be going to a Jermaine Osako first over Marky Mark, in my opinion. But if you want Marky Mark, go Marky Mark. If you don't have Jenkins, go Jenkins. But I think, I'd be looking at one of those two, Jermaine Osako or Marky Mark. But yeah, that's my trades. I'll be keeping it at that. Hopefully I can straight trade across. We just need to see if there's injuries and stuff, but 3 trades left, round 22. I think I'm going to hold tight. The biggest issue is it's kind of 2 trades left with like 5 weeks to go, because if I need to, I have to downgrade at some point. Hopefully, if someone does get injured, it's someone who I can just go straight across to from someone else. You know what I mean? If not, you have to burn a trade to make money. So I could see Zach Hosking come down to enough. I could see Tarpanay come down to enough. I wouldn't do it with a hooker position because if the other hooker goes down, then you're cooked. And Suafar Logo, he needs to be a trade out soon. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at doing. Thanks for watching. Peter, thanks for coming on in. Everyone, thanks for being here. When did you buy a Sarko? Are you watching the stream? Just now, man. I bought him just now in front of your eyes. Danny, lock in. You kidding? I've just been talking about it for the last 3 minutes. Love you. But in saying that, yeah, I'm really, really happy where my team is at. Do I need to go to Jayden Campbell against the New Zealand Warriors? I'm not going to do it. I'd love to do it. What is Jayden Campbell's price? Isn't he like 700,000? I just think I'm going to sit tight. Yeah, 685,000. It's so much money. I can't even go across from Tamari Martin to Campbell. That's also another problem. And I have more value. Jeez. To say that I just think Valentine Holmes on that left edge, he can be very bad with tackles. Bostock and Asaka could have a field day. I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll wait and see. Anyway, guys, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting as always. We are now on the home stretch. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds to go. Wow. The season has flown by. Again, see you guys soon. Thanks for supporting me as always. Good luck to the rest of the season for you. Good luck this week. I'll come out with my trades and obviously my captaincy advice for this week at about Wednesday or Thursday. Good luck. See you soon.